Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 6 o'clock and we begin tonight with day 5 of the Delphi murders trial.
Today we learned more key details about how the victims died and the people who've tried to help solve the murders. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel is live in Delphi and he joins us today. And Bob, yet another difficult day of testimony with graphic details in court.
Yeah, and it was an emotional, at times tense, but fascinating day here in Delphi. We heard from 3 witnesses today, and they gave us very different types of testimony. Let me get you up to date here. Jurors saw very graphic photos as we learned details of the victims' autopsies. We also got new details about data collected from Libby German's cell phone and a tense courtroom confrontation between a witness and the defense team. Let's begin with the autopsies. The coroner who performed those autopsies the day after Abby and Libby were murdered, he showed jurors the actual wounds they suffered. The photo showed one large gaping hole on the side of Abby's neck that severed her jugular vein. Libby had 3 large deep holes that severed both her jugular and 2 carotid arteries. The coroner said that would cause great blood loss, with the girls then falling unconscious and eventually dying within, he estimated, 5 to 10 minutes. Some of the jurors really struggled with the photos in the courtroom today. Juror sitting in seat number 6, at one point he just buried his head in his hands, barely looking up at the photographs at all. Very challenging day for the jurors and for the families. Before that, jurors heard from a woman who was driving near the Monon High Bridge trails on the afternoon of the murder. She said she saw the man identified as Bridge Guy. That's the man captured on Libby's cell phone the afternoon of the murders. She told jurors, "I saw a man covered in mud and blood walking on the side of the road." And she insists it's the same guy in the photo of Bridge Guy released by state police. But during cross-examination, she really struggled to explain why her initial interviews with police never mentioned any blood on Bridge Guy, just mud. The defense team says that part of her story came in years later, and the witness got extremely defensive, and she snapped repeatedly at defense attorney Andrew Baldwin when he asked her to explain the inconsistencies in her interviews with police. Today, we also got new information about data collected from Libby's cell phone. Emily Longnecker, you were in court to hear that portion of the testimony, and it really seemed to captivate the jurors today.
Yeah, they had a lot of questions afterwards, and good ones, technical ones, and interesting because the information that was coming out from the testimony was really dense technical stuff about cell phone extraction data, a lot of numbers and a lot of times and a lot of stuff for them to process, but they definitely had a lot of questions coming out of it. The testimony came from Indianapolis State Police First Sergeant Christopher Cecil. He analyzed the data on Libby's cell phone, and the data showed Libby's activities on that phone, posts that she made to Snapchat that afternoon, video she took of Abby on the bridge. Cecil analyzed the data also of when the phone was moved. Investigators say data shows the phone stopped moving at 2:39 p.m. after an elevation change of 20 feet. And we know also from that extraction, we know the last text that came into Libby's phone that day was at 4:06 p.m. It was from her grandmother, Becky Patty, and that text said, "You need to call me now." Sergeant Cecil also talked about examining 26 of Richard Allen's devices in 2022 after his arrest. Sergeant Cecil testified nothing on those devices connected Richard Allen to Libby or Abby or their murders. The prosecution pointing out that Allen no longer had his cell phone from 2017 when they analyzed his devices. And on cross-examination, the defense really seemed to hit out trying to set up the idea that the phone and the girls were moved at some point, and that data extraction wouldn't necessarily, those apps wouldn't necessarily show that if the girls had been moved, the phone had been moved, and they were in a car.
So at this point, we've heard testimony about Libby's phone, we've heard about the victims and their injuries, about the crime scene and the evidence. What we have not heard up to this point is any evidence that would tie this crime back to Richard Allen.
Right.
We expect that the prosecutor will start to shift in that direction, and that we'll start hearing that type of evidence and testimony in the next few days.
Yeah.
So we are live right now in Delphi. We'll have more tonight at 11. For now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Bob Siegel and Emily Longnecker in Carroll County, thanks so much. And remember, we're going to be digging deeper into what unfolded today during our Delphi debrief, which is tonight on WTHR+.
You can watch that stream every weeknight at 10 o'clock to catch up on the daily developments in the trial. WTHR+ is a free download, and you can get it on Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and also Roku.
Right now, city leaders are hoping to find a solution after dozens of pedestrians have been hit by cars this year right here in Indianapolis.
Tonight, the city's Vision Zero Task Force is having its first public meeting. Logan Gay joins us live with more of the focus of that gathering tonight. Logan?
Hey, Ann, well, that meeting ended around 5 p.m. and it pretty much focused on introducing the task force and giving an overview on the process and the steps that it will take to implement the Vision Zero plan. They also introduced a Vision Zero expert who will be helping to get the action plan together. She did the same work in Columbus, so she made a presentation about the things that work there and the process that it will take for it to work here. She said the keys to the success will be leadership direction, internal collaboration, changing the mindset, time, and communication and public engagement. And that's something the chair of the task force agrees with. He says Vision Zero doesn't work unless you have the support of the community.
We'll be inviting public comment to let folks know what they think about that information, but also part of the work the consultants will be doing in close collaboration with the task force is building out a plan for how do we go out into the community and get that input. So all that stuff will be coming in future meetings.
They hope to have the first draft of the action plan completed by 2025. They're planning to have another meeting in December, and at that meeting, they'll allow public comment. And Scott?
All right, Logan Gay reporting live at the City County building. Thanks so much. This month, Citizens Energy will be rolling out a massive communication campaign. This utility company is notifying more than 75,000 Indy residents and businesses who may have lead service lines on their properties.
This is mandated by the feds. And tonight, our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick has what we need to know. Lauren.
Right now, this letter is in the mail to tens of thousands of people in Indianapolis, listing their address and the type of water service line they own. It's the underground pipe that pulls in water from the main line to your home. Many in Indy still contain lead, especially homes built before 1950. Now, the federal government is requiring all water companies to notify customers who could be affected. The letter also gives next steps and ways to reduce lead exposure. In the last 2 years, Citizens Energy has replaced thousands of lead service lines for free, a program they hope to continue.
We will come to your neighborhood, maybe not this year, but in years in the future, and we will take that opportunity to replace it for you and your neighbors at no additional cost.
Citizens also launched an interactive map allowing customers to now search their address and type of service line. Now the goal is to send out all these letters by the end of November. If you don't receive one, it means your service line likely doesn't contain lead. Also, these letters will be sent out every year to people affected. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
Temperatures are dropping behind a cold front after highs for most of us in the mid-70s. We're 10 cooler already, down to 64 Morris Reservoir, 62 Bunker Hill, 62 in Tipton, 70 right now in Greensburg. Most of us will drop into the 50s by 7, 8 o'clock tonight under clearing skies, and it's going to be much, much colder early tomorrow morning. A frosty start to our Thursday. Morning temperatures in the 30s.
Angela, thanks so much.